Hi, good afternoon. I'm Susan. Welcome to my channel. You know, the price of eggs has just gone through the roof, so it makes baking a little difficult. But today I'm going to show you a chocolate cake that doesn't require any eggs. It's called a mayonnaise cake. Of course, mayonnaise has oil in it. It also has eggs in it. So we're kind of combining two things in one. Real simple cake to make, and that's what we're going to do. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I've got a 9 by 13 pan sprayed with a cooking spray. And the first thing we're going to do is I've got a half a cup of unprocessed Dutch cocoa powder and 1 cup of hot coffee. I'm going to mix these together. Just going to whisk them together. And then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. Let's get this whisking. Now some of the things you're going to see in this video are a little different than what we normally do. We were in Bagley, Minnesota the other day, and they have quite the display for veterans down there, and we took several pictures. I was going to put them in the video. You can, if you don't want to see them, you can just fast forward through it. But we have, our family has always been kind of military. I mean, Will, my lovely husband, did 2 tours in the Navy in Vietnam. His dad was Army during World War II. His mother was a WAC during World War II. And my dad was a Marine Corps, World War II. We have a son, Robert, who they say you're once a Marine, always a Marine. So Robert's a Marine too. So, and plus I have an uncle that was a Union spy during the Civil War. So if you're a Southerner, please don't hold that against me. Now we've got the chocolate and the coffee mixed together. Now we're going to add some other stuff. I'm going to add, if I can get it open, half a teaspoon of salt. I think you'll enjoy the pictures that we took in Bagley of the memorial, the Veterans Memorial there. It's a really nice one. One of the nicest I've seen. Now I've got 2 teaspoons. This is baking soda. I'll put 2 teaspoons of baking soda in there. I've got a cup of sugar, or just white granulated sugar. We're going to mix that in there. And now I have 1 cup of mayonnaise. I'm going to put that in there. We're going to plop that right in there. Try not to get it all over the place. Will hates it when I bang utensils on the bowl. Guess it does something to the camera. It makes a loud noise, that's what it does. Okay, now I'm going to get this all mixed up. And then we're going to add 2 cups of flour. Now, the flour we're going to add is freshly milled flour. We've started milling our own flour. And the flour I'm using is a soft wheat berry, because I want this to be a soft cake. We made some bread the other day using hard wheat berries. It was just absolutely phenomenal. I think we'll probably make a video of that, and then we can put it out there for you to see. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of this freshly milled flour, and we're going to just kind of whisk this in, just until it's incorporated. It's like any other flour. You don't want to beat it, or you're going to have a tough cake. Looks good, doesn't it? I wonder if you can see the difference. I wish I had some regular all-purpose flour to show you. But I'm hoping maybe you can see, maybe if I put it, flour is usually white. Your all-purpose flour is usually white. Look at the color of this. This is just a little on the pale yellow side. Okay, we almost have this mixed up here. Now I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees, and I'm going to check it in about 20 minutes. Our oven runs a little different. I think it runs a little hotter than most ovens. So what I'm going to do, get the extra mayonnaise off there. I'll try not to make noise as I beat the chocolate cake off this whisk. I'm going to put that in the sink. Now I'm going to take my pan that I've sprayed. And I think I've got everything mixed well. Now I'm going to pour it in the pan so we can bake it. You know, they say pour to the camera. Well, that's easy for them to say. They don't have Parkinson's. And it's tough for me to do that sometimes. So I just do the best I can, so if you can't see, please forgive me. Okay. I'll get this in the oven. We're going to bake it, and then I'm going to let it cool, and then we'll come back because we're going to have to make a chocolate icing for this chocolate cake. What would chocolate cake be without chocolate icing? We don't know. I don't ever want to know. Okay, spread this around. Get it even in the pan. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do. Your fingers are your best friends. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven, and when it's done, I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with the icing. Until then, enjoy. Okay, we're back, and our cake's been baked and cooled, and it's Sunday afternoon, so we've all had a nap. We're ready to go. Carry on. You can see the cake, how dark and chocolatey it is. Now we're going to make the icing. Now in this bowl, I have 1 cup of softened, unsalted butter. We always use unsalted butter when we're baking. That way we can control the salt content. So I've just been kind of whipping it up here and get it nice and, nice and soft. Now to that I'm going to add, if I can get that down there, I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Now that we talked about unsalted, we're going to salt it. So I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in there. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. I know this says vodka, but it's actually vanilla. Remember, I make my own. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This bottle's getting a little heavy for me here. If I can get it in there. 1, 2. Well, there's a little more than 2, but we're not going to worry about it. At least I don't worry about it. And I have, to make this chocolatey, 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. It's the same stuff we put in the cake. We're going to get that in there. Now we're going to very carefully, and I mean very carefully, start mixing this up. If you don't start carefully, you'll have a little chocolate face. which sometimes isn't all bad, I guess. So we're going to get that mixed in there. Get going a little more here. I don't know about you, but it is the, what is it, the 23rd of March. Sunday, the 23rd of March. Now, we had a big snowstorm last night, and it dumped probably 5 inches of snow on us, which is usually more than we get at one snowfall, at least in this winter. Now I'm going to add, I think what I'll do is add the powdered sugar next. This calls for 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. We may not do all that, we'll see. I have a 1/2 cup measure here. So there's 1/2 cup. There's 1 cup. One and a half. Two. Let's start with 2 cups here. See what we get. Here again, nice and slow, or you're going to be cleaning powdered sugar all over your kitchen. Get it over here more. It takes a while to get all this mixed up, especially with a hand mixer, but I didn't think I needed to pull out my big mixer just for icing. I think what I'm going to do is wipe that down. You know, probably if you live back east somewhere, let me say maybe east of the Mississippi River, you might already be getting buds on your trees. Well, we're not budding yet, but we are planning for our garden next summer. We've got it tilled up, but we're trying to figure out what to plant. And that can be a real problem. You know, should we plant these or should we buy them? Should we plant these or should we buy them? We know the basic tomatoes and peppers and jalapenos and things like that, but coming across, you know, do we plant cucumbers? Do we plant melons? One thing we have to worry with is deer, since they come right into the backyard. We're going to have to put up an electric fence. I'm going to add another cup of icing sugar. That'll make 3 cups total. And then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons. Normally I do heavy cream. I didn't have any heavy cream, so I'm using 1/2 and 1/2. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of 1/2 and 1/2 and see where we are. Now this needs to be kind of at room temperature or it's going to seize the butter. So let's get this in here. Get this cake iced because I've got a hungry husband waiting in the wings here behind the camera. Let's get it going here. So as you can see, it's coming together pretty good. Look at how rich and chocolatey that is. Looks good. Get all that sugar mixed in. You see some butter we need to scrape down. Just take your time, get it whipped good. We don't want lumpy frosting. Nobody likes lumpy frosting. Of course, if it's lumpy, you can always add, you can always add nuts to it. And I think it's supposed to be lumpy. Okay, let's scrape it down and do one more round on this. And then we're going to put it on the cake. And then we're going to taste it. Which is probably the best part. That's what we've been waiting for. See a lump in there. I should have done this yesterday and taken it to church today, but I didn't. took snacks to church last week. Okay. There you have it. There's the icing. Now, we're going to grab a hold of some. We're going to plop it down on the cake. Ooh, doesn't that look good? Now, I could have added more sugar to this or more water, but I think it's at the right consistency. You don't want it running off the cake. We're going to have some left over, I will tell you that right now. It was the last time I did this cake. We had some icing left over. I just put it in a bowl and froze it. And I'll freeze the rest of this so that when I do another cake, it'll be, the icing will already be made. So here we go. We're just going to take our offset spatula and start sliding it around there. Nice and thick and creamy. Picking up some crumbs off the cake, but that's okay. I could have taken it out of the pan, put it on a board, but we didn't. And it's just for the two of us, unless somebody pops in, or we have to take something to somebody that's shut in. And sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to bake something and just take some to a friend. Just out of the blue. No reason, just do it, and you'd be surprised at the reaction of something just so special that you thought about them. And that's what we might do with this. Just take it to a friend. Well, of course, it'll be minus a piece because you know what happens with the cameraman. Little specks of cake in there. That's fine. Okay. Look at that. Now we do have some icing left over. We're not going to worry about it. We're going to get a plate and a fork and wipe my hands from powdered sugar all over the plate. The plate here. The fork. Probably ought to get 2 forks. And a knife. Grab a knife. I think somebody's ready to taste. I normally cut this in thirds. I don't know how you cut it. It's not exactly in thirds. I'm going to get this out here. First piece is always the hardest to get out. Oh boy. Look at how gooey that icing is. And how dark and chocolate that cake is. It's almost black. It's so dark. I think I'll try this first, Will, before you. Mmm. There's a clean fork. I'm telling you, that's rich in chocolate, both in the cake and in the icing. And it's so good. And that flour that we milled ourselves just really did a number on the cake. It's so good. The texture is so good. Look at how crumbly it is. That is nice cake right there. So, there's your mayonnaise cake. You don't need any eggs for it, so save your eggs for something else. Until next time, remember, we love you. We appreciate you subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Blessings to you and your family, and have a good day.